We need a new strategy. We need a new way in which we can sort of try to survive. Nowadays, we really need two things. We need to think in new journalistic ways, and also we do have to think in new technological ways. Therefore, we need new media. I speak of swissinfo.org, which is our internet site.
Alors, mon premier souvenir se rattache surtout au moment où deux personnes sont arrivées avec un carton dans le bureau qui était devant le mien et s'installer et commencer à travailler. Ce moment-là, c'est pour moi le moment où Swiss Info, le site de Swiss Info, a commencé à naître. Le grand changement, c'était passer d'une culture de presse radio à la presse écrite.
Il passaggio a internet, dalla radio a internet, è stato per noi a quei tempi un po' un salto nel vuoto. Innanzitutto dal profilo tecnologico. Ricordo che a quei tempi nessuno sapeva cosa fare esattamente con internet. Per cercare di capire cosa si potesse fare, avevo visitato le redazioni di 3 giornali italiani e mi ero reso conto che anche loro non sapevano esattamente da che parte andare, tutti navigavano un po' a vista.
What I loved about radio journalism was the fact that it was a craft. You got to work with your hands, cutting the tape, putting together your clips. The first shift was to digital editing. So in other words, we had to do everything suddenly in front of the computer, on the computer. A couple years later, the internet came along, Swiss Info. But we were radio journalists. We knew how to write and report for radio, work with clips and audio. We didn't know how to write for the web. Our only reference was print journalism, but we had no guidelines. So often what appeared on the web was nothing more than bare bones radio reports. They didn't have the sound. It's like if you were a child and you were given a coloring book, but no crayons to color in the pictures.
Es war eine riesen Herausforderung. Also am Anfang, ich habe 10 Jahre Radio gemacht und das Mikrofon fehlt, also auch dieses Murmeln im Bauch. Und also wenn man live macht. Ein Punkt damals war, dass es eher von Vorteil ist, wenn man aus den Printmedien kommt, also Presseerfahrung hatte, weil es vorwiegend ums Schreiben ging. Und mit der Zeit hat sich aber herausgestellt, dass die Journalisten mit Erfahrung in den audiovisuellen Medien, wo es darum geht, sich kurz zu fassen, weil es immer um Minuten und Sekunden geht, eher ein Vorteil war, oder? Auch fürs Internet.